The estimation is something which was always a problem in software development. It was there in waterfall, it was there in any fall, and it will remain as a problem. Reason being that we many times misinterpret the goal of estimation. Estimation goal is not for accurately predicting the range or predicting the end date of the project. It is more about making giving you a choice to make decisions and giving you an idea what should you do when you have this much in hand. Now, having said that, in all project management theories, we use a word called cone of uncertainty. Now, even since the ping box started, even from last 10-15 years, the project management literature talks about cone of uncertainty. What does it mean? It says that during the initial, whenever we know something new, whatever we estimate about the design, about the requirement, about the delivery date, the uncertainty level is high. And this level could be plus minus even 100%. Whatever you say may be 100% wrong. And this is something that you respond to RFP. This is something you go to a meeting and person says, "हमें organization को transform करना है, कितने दिन लगेंगे?" So now you may feel that if it is such a wrong thing, why should we do it? फायदा ही क्या है करने का? But this information is good enough to decide ये रास्ता मेरे लिए ठीक है या नहीं है. Now somebody may want to buy a flat here. ठीक है? During the tea break you have a discussion. यार नोएडा में क्या रेट चल रहा है, गाजियाबाद में क्या रेट चल रहा है, गुड़गांव में क्या रेट चल रहा है. In a tea break itself you may get an estimate which is at this range. Now when you go to that particular flat or in society, the range would be, the estimation would be wrong. 30%, 40% galat. It would be expected to be wrong. But the tea break level discussion can give you an idea. Is the Ghaziabad is right place for me? Is the Noida is right place for me? Is the Gurgaon is right place for me? You can at least decide where you go further. And that is the goal of the tea break discussion. You can't make that guy hold accountable. तुमने तो 40 लाख का बोला था, यहाँ तो 45 में मिल रहा है, 60 में मिल रहा है, 70 में. You can't. But you can definitely get that relativity. That with these people's knowledge, whatever they know about the property and rates, they feel that Gurgaon is expensive, Noida is second expensive, and Ghaziabad is third expensive. And these are the ranges in those kind of areas, which is good enough at this level. And that's the goal of rough order of magnitude.
Again, sir, there is some set of ground rules for this estimation also, that whatever you estimated, after that it should be from -80 to 180.
Yeah. So now we call it rough order of magnitude. Now each organization understands the error range for it. So now if I am into a very abstract business where everything is new, I may be open for 100% variance. If I am into a very predictable business, for example, I am doing SAP implementation, and we have done 100 SAP implementation projects. This is a new SAP implementation project. I have a templates, I have a way to capture what is needed in that SAP implementation project. Since my practice is so mature, I expect 20-30% error, that's it. So if you are doing something very, very repetitively, where you know the technology and people well, your estimation accuracy increases. And I call it the rough order of magnitude accuracy level is a function of how well you know what and how. The more you know about what and how, your accuracy will be more. So now, here you don't know maybe. As you move forward in your project, you start knowing what and how. Because the requirement which was abstract here becomes more concrete here, becomes more concrete here, and it becomes more concrete here. You know this is the application we have to develop. And this information makes your estimation accurate. Yeah.
However, Saket, so when we are estimating user stories, which concerns on me what, like who, what, and why. Like who's as a user I'm doing that, so that I can get some benefit out of it. So it's very clearly maybe stated like how far doesn't go into estimation, because you are going to into a solution. Then you are right now estimating the size of the problem child, or you can say the user story. Then how to differentiate how part from your estimation.
We'll talk about how these things becomes better in Agile. So
right.
The idea is that
keep telling teams like keep your how concept out of it, because right now you're only concerned
we will take. When I explain how does it happen in Agile, we will take that. Sure. Yeah. Any question on what and how part? Making sense till here? So now the idea is the estimation accuracy improves as we know about the requirement and as we know about the technology well, about team well. शुरू में initially you might think of I will have an average developers, I can do a 10 function point per month. But the average developer that only exists on a paper, after that you have a real developer. And the real developer is a real developer. He does something in a different way or similar way. So you have multiple people and people keep coming, going. You have environmental issue. Many times customer asks 10 times before he gives you answer. Initially you were thinking we will get the detail of requirement in a one shot. Now you may get 10 shots before you even know the requirement. So those things you only know when you go forward. How about the customer? How about your technology? How about the team you are working with? So this is the way we can talk about estimation. And in another metaphor, as a presentation metaphor you can use is, if you are going to an airport and you have a flight to catch, you usually don't miss your flight. You always catch your flight. If you are going to office and you have a target to reach 9 o'clock, many times you never reach to 9 o'clock. Sometimes you reach 8:55, sometimes you reach 9:10. You are pathetic in estimation for reaching to office time. You are very good in estimation when you are reaching to airport. What is the secret? Secret is you put a lot of contingencies there. So the estimation has nothing to do with the end date. End date is a projection based on your contingencies and stakes. Whereas estimation is that in your mind you think it will take 20 minutes to reach your airport, it will take 40 minutes to reach your airport. Even if it takes 60 minutes to reach an airport, you can still catch the flight because you have kept the buffer. And when you kept the buffer, when the stakes are high, when you are going to an office, you have been going to office all the time, but still you don't keep any buffer.
But they said that buffering is not at all acceptable in world of agile.
ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Contingencies is a matter of how the stakes are. Now, if it's like an office context, I don't want to put a contingency because I know my stakeholder understands me. So if you have a stakeholder who understands you, you don't have to put a buffer. But if you have an airline who never understands you, you have to put a buffer. Now buffer is expensive. You reach to an airport 1 hour in advance. Now you are wasting time. You could have done something better, but you are wasting time for the predictability. So same way, if I am asking my developers, project management team to give me a firm date, I know that I am wasting time. There is a possibility of something we could have done earlier but getting late. So the date projection is not directly proportionate to estimation. It's a proportionate to estimations and contingency risk based on the consequences we want to put there. ठीक है? So we can say the end date फिर भी project हो सकती है और फिर हमें manage करनी पड़ती है somehow, and we need to think about risk management, scope management and all those stuff as we go forward. Does it make sense till here? Yeah. Now talk about agile way of doing things. User stories. So now first thing is nobody mandates user stories level estimation in agile. People can do function point, people can do ideal days, people can do whatever they want. But the idea of estimation in story point is appreciated since it gives you a rough estimation at a faster pace. Now agile estimation or a software estimation is a function. We need to understand 3 dimensions of estimation: size, effort and duration. These 3 things are very different. Many times when stakeholder ask how much time it will take, they directly ask the duration. They don't ask what is the size and how many hours you are going to take and how many days your developer will work, etc., etc. How much duration it will take. In traditional world, we might be estimating directly in efforts. We do a work breakdown structure, or we do a parametric estimate. We do something and tell that this is a say 200 man days of work.
But in traditional world, requirements usually are clear upfront. But in agile world, they said, I want to be a fixed price, but I don't know what the requirement is.
True. See, the idea of a contracting is, if you can only go in a fixed price firmly without taking a business risk. Again, the business risk is separate. Sometimes you just want to keep your factory busy and you may get into a bad deals also. So that's a separate thing. But fixed price does indicate that I need to know a fixed scope. So if you have a variability in a scope, you need to have some way to earn money. So be it agile, not agile, you need to have some way to recover money when you get into a fixed price and when the scope understanding varies from what you have thought initially. So in waterfall, in a traditional water, rather than using a waterfall, we do an effort estimation, and then we were thinking of a critical path and sequencing, and then thinking that okay, this is how the duration will be like this. So we talk about requirement, kitna time lagega, and all the resources will not be busy, and we talk about resource leveling and all those stuff. This project manager was doing before. That was the old word. Now in agile world, first thing is, what is the wrong with just doing effort estimation? Why can't we, agile allows you, why can't we just directly start here? Why should we go in story point sizing?
Because the level of uncertainty is high in the beginning, and this 200 may or may not be.
Okay, so effort estimation may be wrong, but size estimation also be wrong.
Size estimation may also be wrong, but that's relative.
Relative है, but थोड़ा बहुत तो ऊपर नीचे होता रहेगा. The problem with the effort estimate is, first whose effort it is? आपका है, मेरा है, इसका है. किसके 200 घंटे? I don't know. You can do it in 2 hours, I can do it in 3 hours, he can do it in 7 hours. You know. So, the effort estimate has to be with the individual thing. हम कहते हैं कि average developer को लगेगा. तो average developer को लगेगा तो automatically वो size ही हो गया. वो effort बचा नहीं है. It has become a size. Now आपने estimate average developer का किया था. How do I know is this month में क्या हुआ? Now you can ask, how was this month? तो इस month मैंने 30 दिन काम किया. जब previous month मैंने 30 दिन काम किया. अगले महीने में भी 30 दिन काम करूंगा तो भाई हो क्या रहा है? तुम लोग ऊपर जा रहे हो प्रोडक्टिविटी में, नीचे जा रहे हो. You never know because you always have a fixed effort. So if I want to know how much I am covering in that much time, I need to have something independent from my effort. And that's the size gives you that flexibility. And that was the goal of function point, that was the goal of story point. I can say this month my team did 20 points, next month they have done 25 points, now they are doing 30 points, effort rate is the same. The team is producing and becoming, learning better and better, and they are moving towards it. Or it could be reverse. Our technical depths are increasing and something is happening and team is producing less and less and less now. So that's the advantage of size. Now we are moving towards
kind of ability.
So size is something which is independent of effort. Rather than I would say independent of effort, it is an agreement of some average sizing of requirement. It's not independent from effort, but it is based on some parameters of understanding of requirements. It's a way of telling how much square feet area we have to paint in this way. It's like that. Now square feet area painting may require a different type of skills to do the real paint, but the square feet area gives me an idea of quantum of work. That's the idea.
In this world, if we are estimating on size, let's say there is one task of performing a brain surgery, which takes 8 hours, and then there is this task of putting, I don't know, a thread through 1,000 needles, which also takes 8 hours. This one is technically much less complex.
You should put both 8 hours.
And this we decided based on duration, because
Yes,
both for a given person.
Yeah.
What
Should
do
be
you
same.
think?
Now, abhi idea क्या है? What is the goal of this sizing? Size का goal है कि I should be able to make a decision. I should be able to figure it out how much can be done in a
better
sprint.
decision.
So now size, if it takes number of sprints, release planning करते हैं हम लोग, is size divided by velocity.
Yeah.
Velocity shows how many points of work I have done in a given sprint. So if the amount of work I can do in a sprint does not get reflected in size, then we are wrong. So it should not happen. You give a needle वाले को 1 point and brain surgery को 8 point, and you give a 1 point story into a sprint and say तुमने तो कुछ नहीं किया यार, 8 point का ही काम किया. तुम्हारी velocity तो बहुत खराब थी.
But sir, if we do not have velocity, then I mean, when team is forming up, we
हाँ, तो शुरू में आपको गैस करके चलना पड़ेगा.
how we guess
तो ये ROI rough order of magnitude का कैसा है? So guessing could be done based on
historical data.
या फिर कुछ रफ वर्क ब्रेकडाउन स्ट्रक्चर करके देख सकते हो. जैसे एक स्प्रिंट किया, 2 स्प्रिंट किया, आपने डमी प्लानिंग कर ली.